Titus, man, this is a, this is a more serious topic, man. I gotta stop laughing. Um, much more serious topic here, man. Gun violence. Talk about gun violence real quick, fellas. Real quick, man. And I know Rex, you've been very passionate about this as of late, about all the gun violence that's been going on here in America. Not that it's nothing new. It's nothing new. We all know it's not new. New something happening. But you know, it's just alarming that at this point in time, it's steadily increasing. You know what I'm saying? I actually read a couple statistics. They said that 9,539 people have died so far this year from gun violence. And we just in March, people. We just in March. Another 7,254 people have been hurt by it. And you know, we recently had like the thing happening in Boulder, Colorado, stuff happening in Atlanta. Matter of fact, they just stopped another guy in Atlanta. I don't know what his intentions was, but he was in a Publix and he had like 6 guns on him, body armor, all kind of other stuff. Which is alarming because the thing that happened in Boulder, Colorado was happening at a supermarket as well. Another guy I know I read about was stopped in Lexington, Kentucky, with multiple guns and explosives was found in his car. So I'm saying all that to ask the question, and I'm not sure how everybody feel about this. Do y'all think that we need? I want to say stricter gun laws, right? That's the question. That's how I want it, but I feel like I should word it a little bit differently. Do you think that we should address the guns in America completely differently than we have already? Let me ask it that way. I don't want to say just stricter laws, just the way we address gun violence in this country. And I want to start with you, Rex. I want to hear what you got to say first.
Well, I mean, I honestly don't think the gun laws right now are as strict as they can be. And I think
so?
sometimes, yeah, I think so. I mean, as far as like legal gun owners, because most of the time when you see these crimes or whatever, mass shootings, let's touch on that. You see a lot of illegally bought guns or guns sold at gun shows or whatnot or whatever. I think the onus need to be put on the gun manufacturers as far as like how they mass produce their product or whatever or something, because they still get profits off those guns, man. So I mean, and at some point for me, I'm getting tired of hearing all this shit about I gotta have this, and just because I have my right to get this, I should be able to get this. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. The number of kids, and I'm talking about kids, I ain't talking about adults and nothing like that. The number of kids dying at the hands of guns, man, is ridiculous. Especially black little kids, man. And that's what need to be put a clamp on, and I think they need to go after the gun manufacturers and hold them accountable. And then maybe some of the shit that you're seeing happening can stop. You probably can start there, but I mean, I really don't see no answer because America, some Americans have this real insatiable love for guns. I'll never understand it. I think the gun was one of the worst inventions ever made. It's done nothing for mankind but bring destruction and death and pain. That's it. It's done nothing positive at all. So, and that's just the way I feel about it. Now, if you ask me if I own guns, hell yeah. Because in this type of world, you got to have that. But I don't have like, high capacity clips, magazines, and 60 round guns or whatever. I got 6 bullets, and that's all I need to defend my home, man. And I just don't, and all this stuff about, it's a sport, it's not a sport because it's not a fucking game. If you can choose you having your guns and playing with your guns over the kids dying, then that's the problem in itself right there.
All right.
I can't put it no plainer.
Brown, I want to hear what you got to say next, sir.
I think that it is a going on with gun violence. It's going on for a while. I mean, in our own community, we're killing each other, made the clip. It's none fucking stop. I think it all comes down to how we broke down the black family, and we kind of let shit go by the wayside, man. We're not raising our kids anymore, dog. We ain't doing what we're supposed to do. America is been known to just drop guns and fucking in the hood and keep exposing us to this shit, man, and getting us fucking blown to hell. I mean, the white man has been killing each other forever. They got non-stop mass shootings every fucking year. And the shit that happened in Colorado, man, and that's fucking ridiculous, man. That happened in Atlanta, that's even worse. How the fuck you got a bad day and you go out and kill 8 fucking people? That's fucking ridiculous. I think we've got to really probably look at ways to limit who has access to guns and what type of guns they have access to. I say that, and then on the other hand, I say if we do limit the shit, it's really gonna target us as far as us being limited to guns anyway, and being able to protect our homes and our families and shit. So any way they can do it legally to keep guns out of the hands of the wrong individuals, they need to find a way to do it and do it fast. Some of these like shit that here in Charleston alone at the church, that's fucking ridiculous. You got a fucking idiot that came and worshiped people and he killed all of them, trying to kill every last one of them. We really, I don't know what they gonna, what the hell they can do, but it's something gotta be done there. I don't know what it is. Well, like Rick said, I have guns, and I plan on keep on buying guns, and I will make sure that my son, when he's ready, is able to operate a handgun and defend himself and protect his property as well. This shit is crazy. I don't know what to tell you, man.
D, I want to hear from you next, and then Hannibal, I want to hear from you after that.
I own guns. I like having my guns. I believe that they need to be in the hands of those who are responsible. I believe that we need to implement. I want to agree with Rex, is that the gun laws are strict now. I just think that what we need to focus on is a universal background check, making sure that that there's no loopholes between you going to a gun show and buying a gun versus going to a shop or a pawn shop or a gun shop. That there's a universal background check that's tied into the FBI, so that so when you buy a gun, you have to go through that. I also believe, and I'm a gun owner, that if you're going to have certain guns where you're going to have the high caliber or rapid action, that you have to get insurance. We do that for cars. You should have to do that for a gun, that you have to pay liability insurance for having those type of guns. And then the third thing is, we as Black people that are legal, that have the rights to own a gun, if you really want to see gun reform, let a lot of us keep buying guns. And I bet you they'll change. The last time they changed the laws on guns is during the 70s, when the Black Panther Party were legally, displaying their guns on government properties in the 70s. That's when the last sweeping gun laws came about to basically hinder us from having them. Soon as they do that, if we all got involved and started having our guns legally and protecting ourselves, they would change it. And sorry, Terrence, and the technology part. Everybody now has a phone that you can have your thumb ID on a phone. I believe if they implemented technology in guns that hinder people from handling them, you will see a lot of things change in America. So that's just how I feel about it.
Okay, Hannibal, what you got, sir?
Thumbprint for your weapon. It won't fire unless it's identified as your thumbprint.
What movie was that in?
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes.
They did that too.
Yes. Continue, Hannibal.
All right, so
Judge Dredd too.
Yeah, Judge Dredd. Yeah, Judge Dredd also. Right. Pretty much, it's like this. If you're gonna have weapons, like I say, the restrictions are already higher than they ever been before. One of the biggest complaints is, it's like you say, rapid fire weapons. You can't buy rapid fire weapons out of your everyday store. You can't go to Walmart and get a rapid fire weapon. You can't go to no gun shop and get a rapid fire weapon. You can't even go to and get a rapid fire weapon, a gun show and get a rapid fire weapon. In order for somebody to get a rapid fire weapon, that weapon is smuggled over here. That's one of the things we got to really look. The government has to really look into at themselves. Is why are we putting all these dangerous weapons, rapid fire weapons? Because no one should own an AK-47 and it's out there and it's rapid fire. Bow, 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 bow. You just holding the trigger and just spraying and praying. You ain't even aiming at nobody. Half the motherfuckers that's out here that got guns and they killing people, they don't even know how to motherfucker clean that motherfucker. They don't even know how to take that bitch apart and take proper care of that weapon. All they know is that's why they go for them fucking AK-47, because you ain't gotta clean that bitch. That bitch gonna fire regardless.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How do we keep guns like that off of the street? You know what I'm saying? Like those type of weapons. How you keep those fully automatic weapons off of the streets, out of the hands of the criminals? Because when you hinder everybody else that's legally able to purchase a weapon, you know who you're not hindering? You're not hindering people that work on the street workers or anybody like that who live in the streets, who get down in the streets, and they have access to those type of weapons. You're not hindering because you're not making it harder for them to own a weapon. You're making it harder for the people who are out here doing things the right way. You're making it harder for them to protect themselves from the people who have the legal. So that's the tricky thing that they have to figure out when it comes down to it. That's the real tricky thing that they have to figure out. You know what I'm saying? All those senators and stuff that was quick to come out when Black Lives Matter was marching and they were quick to pull their gun, people like that, they shouldn't own no fucking weapon. Why out of your house? This, that, and the third, they display that. They just cause the violence, erupt the violence more. People like that shouldn't have them.
You know,
go ahead. Now, they're too afraid, they're too scary. They don't have the mental capacity to be able to forward think through action what you need whenever you have a concealed weapons permit. You know what I'm saying? The actions, the steps to take and all the other stuff. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. That's the one big thing though. Like what is the US gonna look inside at themselves and say, hey, we gotta stop smuggling these weapons over here. Or how do they stop it? War on drugs, you're still providing war and guns. I mean drugs and guns to the neighborhoods that you are talking about. Chirac, you're talking about Chicago, all those places that's always number one on the areas of killing.
I personally, I don't think that people need semi-automatic rifles, AR-15s. I don't think anybody needs those at home. But here's the problem. Like what Hannibal said, they're getting illegally, fully automatics are getting illegally transferred, imported here into America. And, even though they made AR-15s available for purchase, the criminals have them, right? So if the criminals got them, then law-abiding people need to have them as well, because if all you got is handguns and a shotgun at your home, and somebody coming in with a semi-automatic rifle, man, you might be assed out. So I mean,
you mean fully automatic?
Or semi-automatic. I mean, like AR-15 style. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking on AR-15 style assault rifles. And so, like, I don't think anybody should have fully automatic or semi-automatic. You know what I mean? Rifles. Assault rifles is what I mean. Semi-automatic assault rifles. But if the criminals got them, then shit, I need to have something just as bad. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna protect my house or protect my person, man, I need to have something just as good or better than what they got, man. I think they need to. I personally think they need to be stricter gun laws in America. I'm all for legally owning guns. I own a few myself. I advise people to get their CWP. You know what I mean? So you can have your stuff with you wherever you go. And because that shit that happened in Colorado, That shit could happen anywhere. You know what I'm saying? He was just going to the people was just at the grocery store. Just like the guy that got stopped, the guy, his name was Rico Marley. He got stopped in Atlanta walking into a Publix. Like, why would you need to carry your assault rifle into a grocery store? Like, they stopped him before anything happened. But if he says, well, I'm just shopping, I wasn't going to do anything, why the fuck you need your rifle with you to go shopping? You know what I'm saying? And so allowing people to just walking around with all this stuff, man, is dangerous. It's hot, and as we've seen and witnessed, it's very dangerous to allow people to have these things. And I don't think everybody don't need to have no goddamn assault. It's just that's how I feel, man. You know, if you hunting, you don't need an assault rifle to hunt. You know what I'm saying? If it's a sport, then you don't need to be having it out. If it's for a sport, you should only need it when you go into the sporting event. You know what I mean, just having it going around just randomly, that shit just don't make no sense to me, man. You know what I mean? I'm highly against even the right now in South Carolina trying to pass the open carry bill. Wow. I'm a firm believer in my CWP and having my stuff on me. I don't think open and carry is a good idea. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's a good idea, man, because you know, people feel they want to poke their chest out when they feel they got something that can help them do a lot of damage. You know what I'm saying? If you got a bat with you, you're gonna feel more brazen than if you didn't have a bat. You know what I mean? So, you know, you got people openly carrying guns on their hips, they're gonna talk a lot more shit. Everybody don't take shit. You know what I'm saying? Some people gonna have some shit to say. I just think it's a recipe for disaster personally, man. So I think they should restrict the gun laws. I don't think they should be so this shit. We are not in 1776 where we needed militias and all that other stuff like that. We don't. We're not 200 years ago, man. We in a progressive state of mind, and that's how we should be behaving. We shouldn't be having laws that cater to something that happened 200 years ago. We need laws that surrounding the times we in now, not back then.
Prime, you got to think about it. A lot of these people who want to carry, they want to fulfill this feeling of being superior than others, because now they're being called out. They've been transitioned as they're saying, oh, this is part of the cancel culture. I can't do this and that. No, if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're calling somebody out something, you know, like the ladies, the Karens, and you know, you got these guys now that say, hey, I can't say something to somebody else, so they got to carry they shit on their hip, you know, because they want to feel Billy Badass. And I agree with you, because I'm one of these brothers. You say something to my family, I don't care if you got something on you or not. I'm gonna put you in check. You know, just because you got a sidearm on you, I'm still gonna say something to you. That's just how I'm built.
Yeah, in response to what you said, if you want to feel superior, do it without the gun. You know what I mean? If you got something to say about your stance, say it without the gun. You know what I'm saying? If you's a man and you big Billy Badass as you want to feel, do it without the gun. You know what I'm saying? The gun don't help you have your point of view. Your point of view is your point of view. You know what I mean? The gun only make you feel protected for somebody whipping your ass from your point of view. You know what I'm saying? Even like with the Karens, like that, you know, them people, them Karens and people like that, they feel like the law protects them so they can say what they want to say. If the law wasn't there, would you say, if you didn't feel like that law was protecting you, would you still open your mouth and say what you say to me, say to my face what you feel like saying? You know what I'm saying? If that law wasn't protecting you. So don't you, my point is, don't let these laws get you fucked up out here. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Don't let the laws get your ass pummeled out in these streets because you feel like you protected. You know what I'm saying? Because the cops ain't gonna be quick and not get your ass. You know what I'm saying?
If we started carrying our guns openly once they pass these laws, they'll change their mind real quick.
Didn't I say that earlier?
Yep.
I said as soon as brothers start buying guns and carrying them, and we got our own clinics.
Go
ahead.
Those a shotgun, what we carry that. Those semi-automatic rifles, you can open carry those.
See, the scary thing I have about that is that our ignorant younger brothers and sisters that feel like they still got all these chips on their shoulders and they got all the shit to prove out here in these streets to these other cats. You know what I mean? They want to prove their bravado because they now carrying open, you know what I mean, they're gonna feel more ready to use it, you know what I'm saying, against their own brother over some bullshit. Somebody step on their sneakers and now they want to pull out their gun behind some shit like that.
But again, Terrence, this is the thing, and I think
Prime. Just call
everybody's
me
saying
Prime, man. Just say Prime.
I'm sorry. God damn it.
He
I'm
don't
sorry,
get 3
y'all.
fines. He don't get 3 fines. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'll bring you a bottle of this new stuff I'm drinking on. You like that? You like that,
Oh
Prime?
Lord.
but
He's starting
bruh,
again.
on the real, I'm this is how I feel about it. If we had our own network, we teach brothers and sisters the proper way to carry their guns. You know, when I got my first gun, I had to go to an entire class, a whole session. This was in Abbeville, South Carolina. After I got out of college, and one of my co-workers, you know, he was a big redneck, loved to take people hunting. His thing was if he helped you get a gun to go hunting with, you had to take the classes. And he said the one thing that the classes and being certified and having your license to do certain things, you don't behave that way because they teach you the behavior, how you're supposed to handle your guns. Most people that are creating this violence, a lot of them never gone through that type of training to do that. And y'all boys who be in the military that have guns, y'all know the responsibilities. You know that you got to have it locked up. You know, a lot of people like these kids that are getting killed with their parents' guns, they're buying guns and somebody at the store said, hey, you need to put this in this safe. They don't go through the whole class and training of how to properly handle guns. If we did that, if we do that big PT prime time, had to clean it up. Because I ain't gonna be buying no 3 bottles. I'm gonna give you 2 of them. Be good.
He caught himself that time.
I think if we did that, that'll really cut down on this crime in our own communities. A lot of the stuff happening to guys who don't know how to handle a gun.
Let me ask y'all a question, man. Brown, I want to hear what you got to say about it because I know, Brown, you very big on community activism, as well as you, D. I know y'all boy big on this stuff. You know how fellas always want to come in, and do the mentorship thing and try to show young brothers, about finance, about things, and proper behavior. If we already know that these young cats are going to be ignorant to the fact. Not ignorant overall, but ignorant to the fact, and they're gonna have possession of these guns. You think it's prudent for us to go into these hoods and say, "Hey, listen, I'm not gonna tell you don't use guns because you're not gonna listen to me anyway. But let me show you how to properly use it. Not in an official stance where after you finish this lesson, you're gonna now be certified or nothing like that. But we know these cats are gonna do shit because they don't want to listen anyway. But at least give them the proper education so maybe they can maybe make that better decision down the line or the way they're handling these guns because people gonna carry guns, they're gonna do the shit. So let's just try to show them, hey, let me teach this CWP type content for free. You know what I'm saying? Just so you're not just carelessly out here hurting each other. You know what I mean? And there's a much more a better way for you to be interacting with these guns and stuff like that. They may not take it, but at least we try. We step in and we say, you know what? Here's how you should be doing things. You know what I mean? And at least somebody showed them instead of just leaving them to their own devices. What y'all thought about it?
How old are these kids, Brian? These kids you talking about?
I would say start at fucking 14, 15, 16. Because shit, that's how young they are when they start carrying the guns. We might as well start young. Don't wait until they're 18 and start trying to show them and teach them.
I think the only problem with that is you kind of enabling them. And when you do that, because at 14 and 15 and 16, you're not supposed to have a goddamn gun.
No, but
we already know.
Let me respond with this, Riggs. You don't think your son or your daughter should be having sex until they're older, but you would talk to them about sex when they're like 12. You don't expect them to have sex at 12, but you still tell them about it.
Dude, my first gun I was 13.
Yeah, I was about 12, 13. Yeah.
Okay, where y'all get them guns from?
Your parents.
I got mine illegally because I was a rock boy back in the days, and I'm going to be up front.
Most of the time, young kids get guns illegally, man. They don't just. You can't go buy a gun when you're 15 or 16. You know.
No.
So I mean, and to get back to your point, Prime, I understand what you're saying about 6, but that's apples and oranges. You know, because, and I mean, in a roundabout way, you can die from 6 or whatever. You know.
What?
That don't normally happen like that,
You
but
heard E?
more than likely you gonna die from a. See, I was trying not to touch on that.
My bad. I didn't mean to get off track. Go ahead, my bad.
Yeah.
I saw the body. I saw the body face, and Hannibal looked at you like you crazy.
You know, I've been trying to gloss over that. Yeah, just trying to gloss over that part. You know, that's my bad. But I mean, seriously, at 15 and 16, instead of, I mean, I dig where you coming from, because, you know, as far as like giving them knowledge and information, just like how D said about, you know, people when they get their guns and they go to these classes and they think differently about how they handle their guns. You know, even with us in the military, when we got qualified, we was taught differently. You know, that's how come I act certain ways with my guns. But for a youngster, I mean, I'll tell you like this. The first time I had a 357 in my hand, I was 15 years old. And I couldn't tell you how powerful holding that gun in my hand at that time made me feel, man. There's just something about it. And I don't think kids, teenagers, mature enough to handle that. No matter what type of teaching you give them or whatever, I don't think they're mature enough, man, unless they're going in the military.
I got one thing. I'll go ahead, Hannibal.
It's more about if we at least put the knowledge out there and give them opportunity to learn about guns safely.
Yeah.
That makes them at least be safer with the gun
and know how to handle it better. That way
you're not gonna reach. What you want to do is reach as many as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't,
and I want. I'm sorry, Hannibal.
Go ahead, Hannibal.
No, go ahead, Hannibal.
Never real reach, and I can honestly say, I have never felt any less powerful or more powerful with the gun. I can honestly say that. I can honestly say that having a gun and not having one, I have never felt any less or more powerful with or without it.
So my whole thing is this, that I want to be able to teach them and help them understand the consequences, because, you know, some people know this, some people don't. I've got hit by a bullet before when I was younger, doing some dumb shit in Colombia a long time ago, over there by Benedict in the projects over there back in the days, wilding out. And I think I was in 11th grade. The thing is, and it was a ricochet more than anything else. But the point is, if you teach somebody when they're young to understand the consequences or the time they can get behind having a gun, right? Like Q, and also like Hannibal said, if someone knows that, hey, I may go do this, but I may get 5 years for having some weight, but shit, I may get 20 years because I got an unregistered gun on me and I have a prior. That's the thing that I think if we really start educating brothers on at a younger age, they will get it, because them cats don't want to go up for that amount of time.
I don't know.
I want to add in response to what you said, Rex. I understand what you're saying, that's not something we should, but it's something I always try to teach my son. There's the way things should be, and then there's the way things are. Now, you shouldn't have to teach your kid about guns or anything like that at that young of age. But how we know things are, they're dealing with these guns and they're doing things with these guns, and we know this personally from family instances. You know what I mean? As young as he was, he shouldn't have been connected with that at all. However, it still happened, and it happens all over the place. These 12, 13, 14-year-olds, man, they do a whole lot of shit they ain't supposed to be doing, but they doing it. And we can't just say, well, I'm gonna just sit back and wait until they're old enough to start giving them that information. Let's give them the information. And, you know, if they still make the wrong decision, you know what I mean? I still preach understand the consequences of your actions. You know what I mean? But at least we we give them the information at the very least. We don't know what they're gonna do with it, but we shouldn't shy away from providing it simply because they're younger. You know what I mean? But that's what I was trying to say.
I just think that at that age, man, and I don't know how many of y'all can remember when you've been 12 or 13 or whatever, but you're not responsible at all.
Yes, you are.
So I mean, huh?
Yes, you are. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
You talk responsibility.
Yeah.
That's when you're 13.
Yeah, 12. Before then, you taught that. Like I don't know about like. So
what I think Rick's trying to say is that you're not.
Wait a minute. When I say responsible at that age, I mean you're gonna do stupid stuff. You're gonna do immature stuff. You're a child. You're still a child. You can't put kids in a man's position, man. That's just like what happened in me and Prime just kind of touched on it just now. My cousin been 15, man. He's been 15 years old, and he was not thinking. And he's been told plenty of times that, hey, this ain't the life for you. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. When he went out his house Thanksgiving morning, he was going to either try to kill that dude or get killed, and he got killed. This is the type of situation that these kids do not need to be in, and adults need to start standing up and making sure that these kids are not in these situations, dog. When we were that age, when we were around by that age, man, we was not thinking about all that type of stuff because of the people around us who had us thinking about different type of stuff. Now, it was plenty of dudes. It was plenty of dudes that were our age back then that were into that type of shit because they've been raising that shit.
Well,
but I mean, at the same time, I just don't think that these kids deserve that. They deserve a chance to be able to grow and sprout, man, without having to deal with that type of adult situation. You know, and I mean, and I understand what y'all saying. I understand what y'all saying as far as like teaching them and giving them the information, or whatever. But the whole point is get the guns out their fucking hands.
Well,
that's it.
I'm gonna say this because as a gent growing up in the country, so to speak, I knew about guns. I knew about how powerful they were. I knew where they were in the house. The thing was, I was never gonna go again. I knew how to responsibly handle the weapon. My step told me exactly where it was. If something was to happen, what I need to do. I knew all of that. You know what I'm saying? I just think for some kids like the 12, the 10-year-old, I knew kids at my school who had guns. They had guns on because they were caught up in their life. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, they was on a life path where they had to have it. I ain't never saw none of them draw down on somebody at school. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't know what it is. I can only go by my upbringing and what I went and what I got to see and everything that I got to see. It's some fucked up people, and it's best that you go ahead and teach your kids about weapons and how to properly use a weapon, not for the protection, because like I said, my stepdaddy went hunting. You know what I'm saying? He also talked about protection, but he also taught me how to properly use a weapon whenever you go, what you need to do.
Let me ask you a quick question, Hannibal. When you was talking about when you was young and you knew where all the guns was, did you go and touch them guns?
No.
Thank you. You know why?
Because I was responsible.
I gotta push.
No, because you was taught to not touch them goddamn guns. That's why.
See, I gotta push back.
I guarantee an adult told you that.
Rick, so I want to push back something. Hold on, Hannibal. Hold on.
How to not to touch weapons or whatever.
But
I just was responsible enough to know better not to go and touch a gun or for a stupid reason.
Right. All right.
It wouldn't be to ever go and touch it.
Well, that's what I want to say. Because I want to push back on what you were saying, Rex, and I'm gonna piggyback off something after what you just said, Hannibal. Just because an adult taught you something doesn't mean the kid is gonna listen. It depends on the child whether or not they decide that they want to listen to what that adult has been teaching them. And we all know every kid that get caught up in the criminal life, wasn't always a bad kid. You know, let me put it back. They didn't always come from bad house upbringings. You know what I mean? They wasn't always raised to be a criminal. You know what I mean? Even my best friend that got killed 15 years ago, his household wasn't a terrible household. He had a great mom. You know what I'm saying? He chose to do the things he was doing. You know what I mean? And she was on his ass all the time. She was on his ass, but he just decided to do otherwise. So it ain't just simply because you having a responsible adult in the household doesn't automatically mean the child is going to follow. You know what I mean? What I was just saying that as a responsible adult, we should be the ones putting that information out to the kids, and hopefully we can change the minds of some of the ones that may be a little lost. They may not know what direction they want to go in. You know what I mean? But you're gonna have those bad apples that say, "Man, fuck you. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do anyway. You can't tell me what to do." Those kids are gonna exist. You can't. You're not gonna stop those kids from having that state of mind. But we can interject and hopefully save some of the kids that aren't getting that from home or getting that from people in their family and their lives by putting that information out there so that they can hopefully make the better decision.
I want to touch on something you said, Prime, when you said, you got to kid, and just about the psychological aspect. And when you look at a lot of things that go on, usually you introduce a kid knowledge of something beforehand, usually they handle the situation better. And we all have seen it. When you talk and know about certain situations, the more they know about it, the more likely are they be like, saying, like, yeah, I respect that. I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna do that. Because I know that if you don't teach them early, how are they supposed to know? Right, they may know news, they may know wrong because the other people might have said something, but no one's taught them what's wrong, what's right, or what's the proper way something should be used, or how to protect themselves without. So, like, teaching them early can be a productive counter step that we take. You know, it can be a productive. Teaching them gun safety, not giving them a gun, teaching them gun safety. Just all you're doing is just teaching gun safety. You're not
information.
You're not giving them access to a gun. You're not even giving them the ability to own a gun. You just teaching them gun safety. Right. Sometimes having that knowledge is enough to deter. Sometimes, not in all cases, but in a lot of cases, just not enough to deter.
Yep.
All right. So fellas, we're gonna go ahead and wrap that segment up.